So your cell phones are probably going off here in the city and the loop as well. We've been included in the tornado warning. So at this point, Cheryl, all of Cook County is under a tornado warning. I can't tell you the last time that's happened. Maybe it's never happened.
Right.
But all of Cook County under a tornado warning right now.
I can't recall this ever happening as a meteorologist here in Chicago, to have the entire county. But not only that, what's really alarming is that we are finding so many areas of circulation, and then we're looking at velocity, we're looking at the correlation coefficient, we're looking at the debris signatures, and there's tornadoes touching down. We could have a half dozen tornadoes touching down at the will remain in effect as of right now until 10 p.m. and a lot of us under that confirmed tornado touchdown warning at this point in time. So Chicago just got issued under this confirmed tornado warning in this area. So it's all with this line pushing now Naperville right on the boundary here of that warning, but it is now passing to the east, so the threat is now diminishing for you. However, still very heavy rain and intense winds. I-88 over towards Westmont, you're in the path of this warning, and out ahead of it, that's where that new warning was just issued. I'm hearing so many alerts coming in. There's a lot of train spotters out there as well. Romeoville up towards the Chicago area, reports of possible tornado touchdowns and confirmations in this region. So there's a lot to go through. There's a lot to comb through. Larry, I think we just need to take this warning by warning and zoom on in and start showing streets and neighborhoods and dive in a little bit closer. It's time to get to that basement or get to the lowest level of your home.
And pretty much if you have yet to see the storms arrive, you're basically in a tornado warning right now across the city in Cook County and even down into parts of Will County, because this entire area has a tornado warning with it. And so you need to get to that safe room. If you're in a high rise, go into a small interior room in your apartment, especially away from the windows if you can. If you can get down to the bottom of the building, that's even better, just to seek some shelter. We've got a few minutes yet before the storms reach the downtown and the city proper area, but the storms are coming and they will pack some very high winds as they push on through. And again, the tornado warning covers all of the city. So let's go closer here on the velocity data. I'll start to the north, and this is where we've got tornado warnings in effect for Mount Prospect over towards the Inverness area. Right now, there's a potential tornado here heading close to the Wheeling area, just near Mount Prospect. There's also another potential tornado here just along 290 near the Schaumburg area, near the mall here. Looks like there's another spot where there's some circulation and a possible tornado. None of these are confirmed up here in the northern parts of Cook County, but by looking at the presentation on the radar, there's spin in the atmosphere that could prompt a tornado. If you're in Elmhurst over towards Bloomingdale, this is another spot where we're watching a potential for a tornado. You're under a tornado warning. And then right here, crossing over to the tri-state, pretty close to Oakbrook Terrace and right around Drury Lane Theater, right in this general area. There's another spot where we're seeing rotation being picked up by the radar at this point. So that's another spot we're watching for a potential of a tornado. And then down to the south of that, from near Westmont here, right over Ogden, here's 83. This is a zone right here over Hinsdale, heading towards LaGrange. Potential tornado in this particular area as well. And then even farther to the south, we've got more circulations that are prompting the possibility of tornadoes. And right now, looking at this is probably the most likely where we have tornadoes on the ground near New Lenox. This is the one that just came through the Joliet area. Right here, just north of I-80, coming up on 355, that's a tornado likely on the ground that we spotted back in Joliet. And then south of New Lenox, the other spot where we have the tornado on the ground near Manhattan, still just north of Manhattan, this is probably a tornado on the ground given the signature we're seeing right now on the radar. Cheryl?
Yep, and I just zoomed in. If you want to keep that velocity up, I have street view with you here. So here's Manhattan, and then we're looking at all of this area. If you're in this region, if you're hearing any of your streets, you want to be in your safe place. Definitely a true signature of a possible tornado on the ground in this area right now. So we have Cedar Road, we have Smith Road in this region, Delaney Road. As we travel a little bit farther off to the east, we're going to find 45 right there. Zooming in closer, you can see this gets right around Center Road as well. Monee, Manhattan Road out ahead of this. I know I'm seeing a lot of open land as well, but I know we also have a lot of homes in this region. So this is going to be in the area where we're really continuing to fine tune, where we're finding the worst signatures of rotation on our map right now. So it's just to the north there of Manhattan in this region. Joliet also seeing a very good signature here. You can see that couplet of red and green right next to each other, and that's now just passing to the east of Joliet. There's I-80, I-355. Homer Glen, it looks like you're just north of that immediate circulation that we're finding on the map right now. But again, too close to call. I would just say stay in that safe place at this moment in time. We travel a little bit farther to the east. There's Marley, there's Orland Hills, there's Tinley Park, there's I-80 still. So we're moving right along I-80, getting closer to Country Club Hills, Markham as well. Oak Forest, you're in the path of this storm as well. You're under that warning, but this is where we are finding some decent velocity and rotation within this storm. Okay, extremely strong 100-mile-per-hour winds being reported in Homer Glen and New Lenox. So this is exactly the area that we were focusing on here. This is significant. Even if you have a tornado touchdown, you don't need a tornado touchdown for destructive winds when they're reaching up to 100 miles per hour. This is a dangerous line. We're going to get a lot of reports of damage out of this area. So make sure you are in your safe place at this point in time. Larry, you're dissecting this region as well with me. We have both of our screens up for everyone, continuing to monitor here very closely some strong winds. I know if I query the winds coming in from this region,
they're not showing up at 100 miles per hour.
They're not going to show up, but reports coming in that the possibility of them getting up to that point, if we're seeing or we're getting reports of that from storm spotters and National Weather Services relaying that information, we do take it seriously.
Oh, here we go. Now,
there we go.
Yeah, just on the latest scan. So
yep.
These darker shades of pink, they're querying about 50 miles per hour is what they're querying, but we're certainly probably getting higher wind gusts within that line of storms for sure, because we've got confirmation of higher winds earlier this evening as they came through. But I tell you, where you see these kind of brighter shades of pink that are popping up, that's an acceleration of the wind going in this direction. And we're also getting an acceleration of the wind coming in this direction, and that's creating spin right over the Frankfurt area right now. So certainly a possibility of a tornado on the ground in this zone, and then also up here near Homer Glen as well, and getting close to Orland Park, there's another circulation. You've got the whole thing tracked out, Cheryl. Give us those times.
Yeah, exactly. Frankfurt at 9:36, Tinley Park here at 9:42, Oak Forest at 9:47, Chicago Heights at 9:52, Sauk Village there at 9:58. These warnings remain in effect until at least 10 p.m. So if you're out ahead of this, you need to be in that safe place, taking the necessary precautions, staying alert and staying safe with us as these continue to pass on through some very dangerous storms.
We've got a new tornado that's likely heading towards the O'Hare Airport right now. I don't know if we got a camera up there. Let's get a live shot of O'Hare right now, but a potential tornado heading right towards O'Hare right now as we speak. Here's what the Weather Service is saying. So this is the first time I've ever said something like this. Approximately 10 tornadoes in progress up and down the squall line, and a new tornado warning may be needed for Kankakee County. So as many as 10 active tornadoes on the ground right now within this squall line up and down from northern Cook County all the way down towards Joliet. That's what we're seeing right now with this incredibly intense line of thunderstorms that's blowing through the area. Phil, I know you're out of retirement this evening to help us out this evening. Have you ever seen anything like this in your decades of work here in weather?
You know, I've been here 29, nearly 30 years, and the short answer is absolutely not. Not this many tornadoes, not at this at this rate where you get one, you get another, you get another. And this is the area east of New Lenox, right in here, now getting close to 45 and moving into the Frankfurt area. This is where we've seen some rotation and some very powerful winds. This is likely either some rotation right here near Frankfurt or winds possibly 80 to 90 miles per hour. You go up towards O'Hare. This is where we're seeing the rotation, just to the east of Bensonville, getting very close to O'Hare. O'Hare's right about there. There you see the I-190 extension. So this is heading just north of Grand Avenue there, just past Bensonville and heading right towards the airport, at least the south end of the airport. That's the rotation, probably back in here, but that's from a minute ago. So you get the idea. We go farther to the south of Orland Park here, heading towards Orland Hills. Look at these colors showing up. Velocity 82 miles per hour. This is going to produce some very damaging winds. Get ready, south end of Orland Park into Orland Hills. Very unusual situation. You get these big lines of storms and you can get these brief spin-ups, but you never see this many And that's what's going on tonight. Tornado warnings anywhere from the northern end of Cook County all the way down through Will County and down into Kankakee County. We're talking about a distance probably over 100 miles. I've never seen that. And we have tornado warnings now in effect for Lake County because we're seeing so many spin-ups, so many tornadoes along this line. They spin up, they touch down, they stay on the ground for 5-10 minutes, and then we get another spin-up somewhere else as that one falls apart, and another spin-up. So we do have a shot from O'Hare. Let's take a look at that, and we can see.
Look at that.
Wow, I'm just trying to see if we can see any rotation. I mean, you can see kind of a shelf cloud there.
Yeah.
But I'm not really seeing any kind of rotation.
You guys hear me too? Because I believe another spotter is reporting a tornado on the ground by Midway as well.
Another tornado
we
by
have
Midway.
2 airports right now getting the possibility of confirmed tornado.
Wow, and Midway had a tornado actually touch down last night that then traveled towards Bronzeville. So, you know,
F0 last night.
And you know, the amazing thing about this line is you might not get a tornado, and swear that you did, because you might get a wind gust of 80 to 90 miles per hour. It's going to be moving through the downtown area here very shortly. Now is not the time to go out and take a look at it because you can get these dangerous spin-up tornadoes at just about any time.
And you look at this picture here from O'Hare, and what we're watching is, and this is what the spotters do, when they have flashes of lightning, you look for the lower cloud base to see, oh, there's a power flash. Did you see the power flash on the right-hand side of your screen?
Yep, that definitely got hit something.
So that is an indication that there's some, A, very high winds, or B, a tornado in that area. When you see power flashes, that means there's arcing on the power lines, either power lines knocked down or tree branches hitting power lines and creating the arc that we see in the distance on the horizon. And it looks like the storm is almost to O'Hare. It's getting closer. I'm sure they've been in a ground stop and evacuated the tarmacs and obviously put everybody into the safe shelters that you see when you're at the airport, the restrooms where they have the signs up as a safe shelter. They've probably brought everybody into those safe spots at the airports, both Midway and O'Hare, because it's incredible. We got 2 potential tornadoes at our airports at the same time, which is really remarkable. But you're right, Cheryl, Phil, we're not seeing anything down at the ground at the moment, Cheryl.
No, not from that view, but very ominous. And you're right, ground stop, no planes taking off right now. Everyone, I'm sure, getting alert. And what's great about the airports is that they have those designated areas.
Okay, Cheryl, confirmed tornado about to cross Harlem west of Midway Airport.
Okay, let's go to Midway right now. I was just looking at that, and you can see, here's Midway, zooming in right now. We have Midway on the map. Larry is pulling up velocity for us. Here is that leading edge. There's West 65th Street. There's Archer Avenue. Midway just about to get in on this. So the tornado being reported is just off to the west of the immediate airport at this point in time. It's going to cross over. We are getting reports of this about to cross Harlem right now, just west of the Midway Airport. So anyone in this region currently, you need to be in your safe place. We have West Archer Ave, we have Summit, West 63rd Street, West 65th Street, Stickney just up to the north as well. And then moving off to the east just a little bit, if you're to the east of Midway, you need to get into your safe place. Here's 50, Hometown just off to the south here. There's I-55, Englewood. This is a highly, highly populated area from Chicago, the city, from Midway up to O'Hare. Anyone in this region right now, the possibility of tornadoes in this region is ongoing. We have several confirmed tornadoes on the ground at this point in time. So right now, Summit to Burbank, right along I-55 in this region. Let me take off our radar and the warnings, because Larry, I just want to go in here and show this region.
This is coming up on Central right now. Yeah, this is coming up on Central and eventually over towards Cicero. Right here is the airport. You can see it on the map. And so the leading edge where we're getting the rotation and the potential tornado, and well, confirmed tornado for that matter, is getting pretty close to the airport as we speak, almost over top of you. So Cheryl, go ahead with some of those street roads.
Yes, and pardon me, I'm zooming in because my eyesight as well, but here we go, zooming in. We do have Narragansett Avenue in this area, so this is basically between West 57th Street to West 59th here, just to the west of the airport right now. You can see the reflectivity on the other side of the screen. We're moving a little bit farther to the east, so this is traveling closer to Austin Avenue, and there we have Central Avenue. So anyone in this region, just to the immediate immediate west of the airport right now. You need to be in your safe place. And then it's going to continue to cross to the east, racing at about 40 miles per hour in this area. East of the airport, West 59th. So then we go to Pulaski Road. We have California as well, between about West 55th and West 63rd. Western Avenue.
Okay, Cheryl, I got to go back to a large tornado on the ground at O'Hare right now.
Now we're going back
let's go
up
to the
to O'Hare
camera right now.
Yeah.
Large tornado confirmed on the ground. Is that it on the right-hand side? Let's give it a second here.
So hard to make out here.
There.
I believe that's moving
that
slowly.
looks like it's
yes.
trying to spin and rotate. This could be the very large tornado on the ground at O'Hare Airport right now. Let's stay with this here. It does look like it's rotating, doesn't it? So on the right-hand side of your screen, I don't know if you can put this up behind us right now, but on the right-hand side of your screen, you see the dark cloud at the bottom of the ground covering the distance here where you cannot see the lights in the distance. That is probably the large tornado that's being reported on the ground at O'Hare Airport as we speak. So here we are at 9:45 Monday evening, and a large tornado on the ground heading right over O'Hare Airport at this moment. Let's just watch this play out. Cheryl?
Yeah, this is just dangerous. I mean, I don't know if we've ever been talking about a large, potentially large, dangerous tornado on the ground at O'Hare. National Weather Service is viewing this from their webcam, and they can see that. I don't want to confirm that what we're seeing is the tornado, Larry. I'm not seeing a lot of movement of that one region, but in this area, the possibility here, yes, let's look around O'Hare, take a look at all of our live cameras that we possibly can. It is very dark and ominous. You're seeing the lightning being detected in this region.
It does look like there's something on the right-hand side that's kind of, because you can see the motion of the clouds going more
and what happens too is that tornado is embedded, and you can see those clouds just swirling in that area.
Yeah.
You might not see a defined tornado, but
and it could be
right there. Look at the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right there. You see how the clouds got lighter too all of a sudden, the darkness of the clouds. So.
And looking for any debris or anything at the ground level being interrupted.
Can we drop the banner at the bottom?
Yeah. Can we drop that?
Let's get a full screen view of all this.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Cheryl. We're looking at the ground level for debris. That's one of the signatures, one of the things you look at as a storm spotter to see if there's any debris being picked up from the ground. Obviously, there isn't much there if it's out on the runways other than some dirt. There's no trees, obviously. Maybe it's passed on by because it doesn't look as evident as it was a few moments ago. Do you agree, Cheryl and Phil?
Yeah, you know, it's hard. It's so hard to see in that picture.
Another strong tornado likely in progress. Tornado debris signature crossing I-294 right near Crestwood being reported right now as well.
Okay, so that's a little farther south.
That's south. But
and for downstream south suburban towns, both strong tornadoes and destructive straight line winds will be possible just south of Alsip to the Will County line. So as we've been talking about up and down this line, as many as 10 tornadoes ongoing at the same time within this complex. What we're seeing right now from O'Hare, I tell you, this is more of just a storm coming in with some high winds, but for the past 5 minutes or so as we've been watching this camera, it did look like there was some motion from left to right, which was indicating some spin there, which may have been that tornado that's been spotted up by O'Hare. But regardless, if you're up around the O'Hare area, I want you in your safe shelter right now because this is a dangerous storm up at O'Hare and really up and down this line, Cheryl.
Yeah, and Elk Grove to Norwood Park, you're getting in on this right now by the O'Hare Airport, right along I-80, passing to the east now of 290. This is just a dangerous situation. Very, very heavy rain coming in with this storm. Intense downpours. Again, we were trying to take live views, see if we could see that tornado on the ground, but sometimes it is just so hard. I can say that the leading edge of this storm that was producing the tornado near O'Hare is now passing to the east of O'Hare, just to give you a sign of how quickly things are moving. Yeah. And, you know, guys, when we were looking at that live stream, when National Weather Service said they had the confirmed tornado on the ground, they're moving at 40, 50 miles per hour. It would be in and out of a frame rather quickly if we weren't
Right.
watching it and moving with it. But anyone in this region right now, you need to be in the lowest level of your home in a basement. So Franklin Park, Elmwood Park, you're included in this, but anyone out ahead of that leading edge as well. We're getting close to Evanston, Wrigley Field. We're getting closer to the lakefront. And when we introduce the lake into a line like this, that could also help introduce more circulation and feed in more wind shear with a line like this. So still the possibility of tornadoes dropping anywhere along this line, moving closer to the lake and the city, that is certainly possible.
Yeah, it's kind of a myth that the lake protects us from tornadoes. It does in some cases when you get a wind off the lake, but that's not the case today because the winds brought all that warm and humid air right up to the lakefront, and that continues to be the case this evening. I want to tell Allison, who's our wonderful director up in the booth right now, who's been helping us out this evening, if we get some of our sky cams here downtown pointed off towards the west, because the storms are just about ready to come into the loop as we speak, and the potential is there for some tornadoes moving into the city, the downtown area, along with some very high winds. I've been watching the radar pretty closely, and there are some notches here back over Midway, as we were talking about, near Cicero, up towards Oak Park. This is drawing closer to downtown as we speak. So keep an eye on those cameras that we have, because as this line moves into the city, we're really looking at the possibility of some very high winds and maybe even some tornadoes here in the taller buildings of the city of Chicago. So we'll keep an eye on those cameras. If you see anything back there in the control room, just put it up right away and we'll take a view of it right quickly.
And Larry, a parent tornado right now in progress east of Manteno, headed toward Grant Park. I know that's south of the city, but just getting this in from National Weather Service. Another apparent tornado right now. It's passing to the east of Manteno. Grant Park, you are under the tornado warning currently, and that stretches down towards Momence, the Momence area as well. So the possibility here of a confirmed tornado on the ground. Safe place, shelter in place, lowest level of your home, basement if possible. And Larry, it's also a good idea to tell people, you know, sometimes to wear shoes, bring a blanket, cover yourself. You don't want to get in a situation where debris can, you know, hit you and injure you even more. So it's always good to even have a helmet in place and wear shoes, because you never know what you could be stepping out to outside as well. And don't go outside right now, but just things that people should have with them in their safe place while they're sheltering.
And the shoes are such an important thing, because if you have windows broken in your house and there's glass on the floor, you don't want to be walking through that in bare feet. Got a 75-mile-per-hour gust reported at O'Hare with the likely tornado that passed over the airport. 2 tornadoes being cited currently by Midway observers, including in the remarks from the airport. So we got 2 tornadoes near Midway Airport.
Possible tornado going in the Chicago loop. Chicago, downtown Chicago, everyone, safe place. And this is a city, this is the most populated area. Larry, we have a lot of people in buildings, we have a lot of people in high rises, and a lot of folks ask us, what do we do when there is a tornado warning? You want to go to the lowest level, and a lot of the times, a lot of these buildings will have stairwells in the interior of the building. If you can go into a stairwell that's not surrounded by windows, that could be the best bet. You do not want to be by your building windows at this point in time. You'd want to get to the lowest level and protect yourself from the outside. I know it can get very complicated when you're under a warning in the city, so that's what we would advise people to do. If you have other tips too you want to share for folks in downtown Chicago, I believe we're getting power outages right now in the downtown Chicago area.
Yeah, and Allison, I don't know if you can swing one of our cameras in the studio out towards our State Street studio, because we'll keep an eye on that. We've got reinforced glass here in our State Street studio, so unless we get, we're going to send some of our people here that are in our State Street studio into more of an interior position here in a little bit, just to keep them away from the windows on our State Street studio, because and hopefully these folks who are on the sidewalk get the alert too that there's potential tornado coming towards downtown. Even if there's not a tornado, we're talking winds upwards of 70 miles per hour, 75, 80 mile per hour winds that'll be funneled through the buildings here downtown, which could potentially break some glass or do some damage here to some of the areas of downtown. So as Cheryl was mentioning, if you're in a high rise right now, there's a power flash. You saw it in the distance there, just past the Willis Tower, just to the west of the loop. You need to be in that safe area. If you have a chance, get into that stairwell. On the lower levels, it'd be beneficial, it'd be a better spot to be. If you can't get into a room in your apartment that's away from the windows and away from the walls, you want to put as much space between you and the outside as possible if you're in one of these high rises, and obviously a lower building is better off.
We have that, honestly, the velocity, the strongest velocity right now, basically very close to Grand Avenue, Jackson Boulevard.
Oh, look at that.
I have family and friends in this region right now. I just want everyone to get to the lowest level of their home, be in a safe place. This is a dangerous situation with the possibility of a tornado on the ground right now moving through downtown Chicago and the Loop. This is so dangerous right now. So this is the area.
Eisenhower and just north of the Eisenhower, yeah.
So right 90, this is heading right for the city, and we also have to keep ourselves safe. Keep in mind what we need to do here at the station, keep everyone safe with us here in the city as well. So please just get to that interior room on the lowest level. This is getting very close now, crossing over. This is going to be moving, crossing over I-90 here. We have the Chicago River. We have all of our neighborhood. This is where we are standing right now. So Larry and Phil, this is something to take very seriously with reports coming in of a tornado here on the ground in the Chicago downtown area.
Yeah. Did you look at the debris signature yet, Phil? Did you see that?
I did not. I'm looking at velocity, and it's just about to the downtown area, but just to the west of downtown, right along the Kennedy Expressway is where we're seeing some of that rotation right here, and it is heading right towards the city. And we're getting a
no
massive
defined
wind gust here.
Debris signature,
Yeah.
which is good news, but we can't go off of that. Sometimes we have confirmed tornadoes on the ground and we're not getting that debris signature, but something definitely we're monitoring here closely.
That velocity couplet, too, would be pretty much now
Right over the city.
yeah, right over the city in the North Loop right now.
Yep.
Just really hugging the river, and just on the north side of the river as well is where this circulation is. So we're looking off right up the river right now and seeing what's going on. I noticed the winds are picking up here along the river. You can see that by the trees and the flags swaying in the distance. And the skies are getting darker off in the distance as well. And so here we're looking, oh, look at the winds picking up there. We're looking at Grant Park.
Well, it's howling out here right now on State Street. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow, we're getting at least a 60-mile-per-hour gust here. Look at that. Debris is coming off.
Okay.
Okay,
we
have brought our people away from the windows here at our State Street studio.
Everyone's coming to the lowest level.
Everyone's going into
We're
a spot.
here on air with you. We're on the lowest level. We're in the safest part of the building right now, but everyone's being advised to seek shelter. So for those of us, of everyone working behind the scenes right now, they're getting to the safe place. You have me, you have Larry, you have Phil, we're staying with you here, but all of those people working behind the scenes, getting those videos, the shots coming into you. If we don't have those for a few minutes, that's because everyone's in their safe place currently.
And also to mention, I know we're talking about downtown, 90 to 95 mile per hour winds being detected over South Holland, heading towards Calumet City and the Hammond, Indiana area as well. So potential tornado here in downtown, extreme winds in the southern suburbs heading into northwest Indiana with winds upwards of 90 to 95 miles per hour with the storm that's coming through. So the tornado warnings continue for this entire line as the storm comes right over downtown right now. And as I show you, I don't know if you can do the split screen again, and let's keep an eye on those sky cams again as well to get a view of what's going on downtown. But up there towards Wrigley Field, as Cheryl is showing, there's still the tornado warning in effect in that zone too.
And these warnings are in effect until 10 p.m. They might be extended for a few more minutes because we still have this line to get through. The most dangerous part of the storms in terms of the wind as well as the rotation and the tornado touchdown would be on the leading edge of this system. So right now, that's where this line is. We do have the heavy rain and the intense winds that follow, but where we find the spin is typically along the leading edge of this storm system right now. So we're in the thick of it right now. Bear with us. We are here with you. We have the warnings in place still for a few more minutes. Some of these will be extended. And as Larry mentioned, we're getting so many reports coming in from around the area, the National Weather Service. We have the tornado warnings in place for southern Cook County down into northwest Indiana. You're now getting in on this line that will be pushing through your region. So you need to stay alert as this will be with you for the next 1 to 2 hours moving through parts of Lake Porter and Newton and Jasper County. But we do have the reports coming in. I know you guys were
And
talking.
Cheryl, just to mention too, up in the northern suburbs, Skokie, Evanston, there's signs of rotation in that area as well. No confirmed tornadoes, but as you were talking, I was just scanning the velocity data, and there are signs of rotation near Skokie and Evanston that could be producing a tornado at this point.
Evanston, you need to get to your safe place, lowest level of your home, basement. If you do not have a basement, you want to be in an interior room, a closet if possible that's in an interior room of your home, away from walls and windows. You can see the reflectivity coming down. Right now. Lincolnwood, you are just getting hit so hard with the intense rains. Evanston, this is moving in as I speak. This will continue pressing farther to the east out over Lake Michigan. But right now, anyone, northern Cook County, our northern suburbs, right through the heart of downtown Chicago, stretching to the south, this is an active and dangerous situation. And I'm noticing, Larry, you're pulling up velocity. I'm seeing a lot of bright reds coming in. So that's indicative of some very strong winds. We've had winds gusty up to about
Almost
100 miles per hour, 90
Yeah.
to 95 mile per hour rated detected wind speeds that you were just pulling up there at Calumet City and into Hammond, Indiana.
Northwest
that is
Indiana
dangerous.
right now there are some very intense circulations that have developed. I don't know if you see it there as well. The pink area that Cheryl's pointing to, those are some high winds. And then on my map here, I can show you the circulations that have developed right along that leading edge. This is a zone here from Hammond down towards Dyer, St. John, Crown Point area, right over Merrillville right now. They're very high winds within this zone, upwards of maybe 90 to 95 miles per hour.
Yep, and that continues even farther south of the warning. As you mentioned, Lowell seeing some.
And the other good news, Cheryl, the tornado warning for most of Chicago has expired. So that circulation has pushed out over the lake, as you can see there.
Amazing.
So the tornado warning for the city ended at 10 o'clock. We still have tornado warnings in effect for Northwest Indiana and stretching down into parts of Kankakee County as well. But right now, the shift of where the tornadoes are has now moved into Northwest Indiana. And what we're left with now is very heavy rain and still high winds across the city into the northern suburbs.
Yeah, so that is good news for anyone that was in the tornado warn zone in Cook County until 10 p.m. That has just expired. They're not reissuing it, and that's because the warning was for the leading edge of this here, and that is now pushing east of the city. With that said, still high damaging winds, not out of the question, very intense rains, as well as the lightning. This is not the time to go outside, not the time to assess any damage if there is any in your neighborhood. Stay in place. We have to wait till this line completely and successfully passes on through the region and the city. Intense downpours will continue. Larry was just mentioning, here's where we have the tornado warnings issued at this point in time. We have Lake and Porter County, parts of Newton and Jasper including in this. Again, the spin-ups will be occurring along the leading edge of this. We've had, there's just been so many tornado touchdowns out of the system, so that threat will persist into the evening. I know that we had folks here in the building seeking shelter, so they're going to get back to their designated areas here in the office and bring back Larry and Phil on TV. But we can hear you guys, so feel free to chime on in, talk with me as we go through radar and give the latest updates coming in with the storms.
Okay, we got a confirmed tornado heading towards Crown Point right now, Cheryl. So until they pull us up, why don't you head to that area in southern parts of Lake County, Indiana. Tornado on the ground there, reported by the National Weather Service, headed for Crown Point. If you're in Crown Point, there it is right there. You got it right on your velocity. Yep. Crown Point, seek shelter right now. This is a confirmed tornado heading right into downtown Crown Point. I know the Jewel is just on the kind of the north side of town. That's my reference point because I've been there several times to the Jewel for volleyball tournaments in Crown Point with my daughter. That's a zone here where you need to be in that safe room and get to that safe area here. Basement, small interior room. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground that could be producing winds upwards of 100 miles per hour as it comes on through. Cheryl?
Yep, zooming on into Crown Point. This is right on top of North Avenue and South Avenue. Zooming in, it looks like we have a track, potentially a school right in this region, or some type of community facility here. There's that track. So literally this storm with the possible tornado touchdown, I believe it was confirmed, is in this area right now. It's going to be crossing over West Street. There is Crown Point. If you're in this area, you need to be lowest level of your home. We're going to move a little bit farther to the east because this will be racing at 40 miles per hour. There's North Indiana Avenue. There's Indiana Avenue. There's South Ridge Street. There's 231. If you're hearing streets in or familiar streets, or perhaps your neighbor to the east or west of you, that means you need to get to your safe place. We're going a little bit farther to the east. There's North Avenue still, and you can see what we have here. Here's Madison Street. There's Golden Oak Center. We have some sporting facilities in this region. You can see the baseball fields there, the Diamonds, and then this will be heading farther to the east. There's 109th Avenue. We just want to shout out people that would be in the path of this storm, give you street view access here. There's Broadway. Anyone in this region, please get to your safe place. You're under this warning for a reason. We are finding velocity indicating a potential tornado touchdown, and it is still clearly evident the circulation here. So Crown Point
Cheryl,
towards
we got
Walled View.
Debris data too on our debris radar.
Okay, let's switch over.
Right here, you see there's actually several spots where we're getting debris lofted into the air. So there's likely a number of tornadoes on the ground right now in Lake County, Indiana, up around the Merrillville area. Right here's the one that's over Crown Point, and then south of Crown Point, there are more indications that there's a tornado on the ground from the debris that we're seeing lifted into the air. So also this entire stretch, even up towards the Gary area, the initial reports here are that we're getting radar estimates from the Gary Airport terminal Doppler radar that's there of winds to 85 to 90 miles per hour coming through the Gary area. So from Gary down to Crown Point, basically this is like a fast-moving hurricane coming through that'll produce winds between 70 and 100 miles per hour up and down this line that we're seeing on the radar. And in that line, there could be some spin-up tornadoes that our radar is picking up on with these little kind of yellow little pixels that show up right over I-65 right now. These are likely debris signatures that are showing up, and Cheryl's got it on velocity data.
Yeah.
Two really, really distinct couplets there over Eagle Creek and then up towards
even
Winfield.
south of Winfield there with your debris signature. That's more intense, and we are seeing that couplet that just formed. So just south of Crown Point, this is Southeast Grove area and Eagle Creek, right along I-65. This storm is crossing over to the east, moving at 40, 45 miles per hour. This is a dangerous storm. The possibility here, we have two circulations, very clear and evident in this region with the possibility of spawning tornadoes in this region.
And look at the notches right here on the
We have two circulations, very clear and evident in this region with the possibility of spawning tornadoes in this region.
And look at the notches right here on the traditional radar view. Right there's the one on the south side of your screen, or in the bottom of your screen, and there's the other one up by the Winfield area. So clearly two likely tornadoes on the ground here with this particular storm. Of course, we had the confirmation of the Crown Point one on the ground. Getting a report at 129th in Delaware and Crown Point, lots of power flashes. Train spotters can't see it, but they can hear it, is the report we're getting from the Crown Point area. Likely tornado passing east of Lowell and Lake Dale Carly right now in southern Lake County. Yep, with very strong non-tornadic winds likely ongoing as well.
So Winfield at 10:05, Boone at 10:14, Dewey at 10:36, and Hannah there at 10:44. So this is just to the east of Lowell. They're also noting that signature that we have been talking about. So possible tornado on the ground in this location, traveling to the east. Did they confirm the tornado? No, they're saying likely tornado in this area, but the possibility that a tornado can touch down at any point in time is likely.
Given the history of this complex of storms having produced so many tornadoes that have been pretty much confirmed, you know, when you get these signatures that we're showing you on velocity, debris signature, and of course the radar, it's almost a certainty that there are some touchdowns within this environment that we're existing in this evening, because when we're looking at this profile of the atmosphere, the lowest couple thousand feet of the atmosphere has a lot of wind directional shift to it that's allowing these storms to rotate at the low levels and produce these tornadoes, albeit hopefully weak tornadoes, but they certainly produced a number of tornadoes as they've come through. And right now, just to highlight what's going on, the worst of the storms are now in northwest Indiana. We're cleared of any tornado warnings from the city back to the west and to the north. We still have tornado warnings in effect here for a large portion of northwest Indiana, including Porter County down into Newton and Jasper counties as well, until at least 10:45. So if you're in Valparaiso, down towards Couts, all the way down towards DeMont and down towards Rensselaer, you're under a tornado warning with this approaching line of storms.
Yeah, and Larry, you're very familiar with Valparaiso in that region, and that's where that line is heading right now. So I know we're going to have a very keen eye on this region as that gets closer to Valpo in northwest Indiana. But here's the latest warnings we have for Porter County until 10:45, and then Jasper, Lake, and Newton counties until 10:45. Again, those tornado warnings have expired, I want to say, for much of northern Illinois at this time.
And it looks like it's just leftover rain and lightning, which we don't need any more rain. We've got a number of flash flood warnings, too, in effect for much of the area. In fact, I'll just show you those real quick because flooding is a concern across all of Cook County with a flash flood warning in effect until 12:30 in the morning. All of DuPage County, most of Will County is under a flash flood warning as well. In addition to the heavy rain we've seen this evening, the rains we've seen over the past couple of days have really led to some serious flooding problems in some locations.
Yes, and we do still have a tornado warning that remains in effect for eastern Kankakee County here. You're not in the clear yet. So once this expires, then we're just in northwest Indiana, off to the south of Kankakee as well. But still, we're feeling some impacts in this region. However, Larry, the leading edge is now passing to the east of Kankakee, so that is good news. Likely tornado now headed
towards Hebron,
towards
which
Hebron
is
area.
just east of Merrillville right now. You can see, I'll go to the map and show you, there's Gary, there's Hobart, there's Merrillville, Winfield, and you can see there are some notches in there.
Yes.
There's several different distinct notches that have showed up on the radar, and I'll just highlight them for you on the map because here's one right here. There's another one near the Winfield area. Another one possibly out over the lake, just off the shore of Gary there. All these little rotation markers that we're seeing on the radar are possible tornadoes that have popped up along this leading edge of the line of storms.
So we're pushing into Porter County now.
Yeah, just about ready to cross the county line. So Boone, Valparaiso, Burns Harbor, Chesterton, Portage, Ogden Dunes, you're in line here for this pretty intense line of storms that's moving in your direction as we speak. I see they just sent some more information. In addition to the above, at the very least, destructive winds moving over Winfield and headed towards lakes of the Four Seasons. The corridor with embedded tornado circulations and destructive straight line winds will be moving across Porter County within the next 10 to 20 minutes.